Whoa. How are you? Microphone over here. Let's hope this works. Sorry, guys, I'm a little bit late. Just a couple of minutes, but I wanted to talk to you guys about the fillers. Let's give everybody a minute here to hop on live. Let's check our hair, check our camera. There's nothing I can do about the hair. It's getting old. But anyway, okay, so let's hope some people came on and joined live. I don't have my Facebook on, I don't know. But today I wanted to talk about these fabulous things called fillers. Now, I always say fillers are our friend. What is a filler? A filler for cabinetry, kitchen cabinetry, bathroom cabinetry, fillers are spacers. Fillers go in corners. Fillers go against the wall. They're meant to be cut or trimmed in the field. So they're strips of wood that get put in place to make sure your doors open properly, your everything opens properly. We need fillers. So when you're ordering fillers and when you're working with, whether you're ordering the fillers or you're working with a company and they're working with the fillers, there's something really, really important to remember. Now, there's basic filler designs and each manufacturer is different. So you say, well, why is that company more money? Well, I can guarantee you everything about that company is made better. The upgrades are already included. All those things are part of the norm. When you go with a lower quality cabinet, a lower grade, lower price point, the fillers are much more basic. They're going to be, if you want to have returns, I'll talk about a return in a minute, that's an upcharge. It's not automatically included. So there are different ways that different manufacturers make the fillers. One thing that's common is that they start in increments of 3. So they're spacers, okay? So they're spacers. They're meant to go between either the wall and the cabinet or cabinet in a corner and things like that. Not in the middle of a run. You don't throw a filler in the middle of a run. They're spacers meant for operation of the cabinetry. And that is Buddy. Buddy is dying to get up in that window. Yes. So, little cat entertainment for today. What's the matter? Can't get up in there. I know I moved it. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. So we go on the lap instead. Okay, so fillers. Again, every manufacturer is going to make them different. There's so many things that go into why one cabinet is more money than the other. What is the difference between framed and frameless, particle board and plywood, and all these other things that go into it. So today we're talking about the filler because I'm working with a client and I did the design, I did the layout, but I did not order the cabinetry because I did not know how that manufacturer works. I don't know their spec book. I don't know anything about that manufacturer. And when you deal with manufacturers, you're going to get a spec book that's this big and or a 1,000-page PDF file. So it's going to have all of these different methods for fillers. So like I said, I'm working with the customer now. I did her kitchen, but I didn't do the ordering of the cabinets. So she went with this cabinet company and I oversaw, but again, I didn't see the breakdown of the order process. I didn't check off on anything. All I did was do her layout and consult on finishes, blah, blah, blah. So let me see. If I can share my screen and show you the this is it. Share. Let's present. Okay, so I'm presenting. Let me go back to the beginning just to give you an overview of the floor plan. Okay, so this is my customer's floor plan. All right, so we're looking at the floor plan. And in this corner, I have a filler. there's a filler right here on the base, and there's also a filler on the wall. So there's a base filler and a wall filler. See, there's spacers that go in between the cabinet and for the corner or whatever. Here's an elevation. So see, this is my filler, my wall cabinet filler, my wall cabinet filler. And they're cut to size on the job site. They might be 3 inches, 2 and 3/4, 2.5, but they're cut to size and they're meant to fill in these spaces. And so that I can open up my doors and in my cabinet plan. So you must have fillers. Now, this is a plan view of the cabinet, and it's going to tell you you need a 3-inch filler in the corner, a corner filler, and you can add your accent strip. You must add it. It's an accessory. So in the corner, you have a filler between this cabinet and this cabinet. But not all fillers are created equal, because what happens when I look underneath this wall cabinet? This wall filler on a wall cabinet should have what we call a return, so that when I'm looking at this cabinet here and I put my filler in with the return, I'm not going to have any spaces left over underneath, because my wall filler comes like this and it returns back like that. Okay, so but this is standard from this particular manufacturer. So their filler comes in standard sizes. We've got our standard sizes of 3, 6, and 9. Those are standard increments of 3. And we're going to say not all cabinet companies have the return filler as standard. They'll just have this top part, the front part to go between the two cabinets, but they don't order the return. So in this company, it says it's a filler front 3/4 material, the same as finished end material, finished face only. Cut to width, available, no charge. Specify filler height. You can adjust the height on your fillers. Fillers have a 12-inch deep bottom return made of the same material of the cabinet bottom. And you can specify it deeper if you have deeper wall cabinets at no charge for this company. And the filler is banded on the bottom edge only. So the bottom edge is going to be banded. Now, what they mean by banding is they mean edge banding, the 3/4 piece that's showing. You can also get a filler with an end panel, okay, integrated end panels. Filler is banded 12-inch deep finished end attached to wall filler. No charge. Fillers are, see it with a filler, have a 12-inch deep bottom return made of the same material. So that means that this filler on the bottom is going to be solid on the bottom. If I was to flip this filler over, you would see it would have a solid bottom. And we're going to get into why that's important in a minute. And then you also have corner fillers. We have corner fillers, which are already made to be, finished. There is no bottom return on the corner filler. Okay, so this means if I put this corner filler in the corner, there's not going to be any bottom between those two cabinets where they join, where this cabinet joins this cabinet. There's going to be a big hole underneath that wall cabinet. Okay. So if you want it to be a panel, a finished on the bottom, corner filler with a finished bottom, that's an upgrade or an accessory, needs to be modified on site. We also have special corner fillers for lots of people that want to recess the cabinet into the corner. You could see it needs special 3/4 edge banding. It has an unfinished edge going next to the wall cabinet. This longer side is going to be finished. So all of these technical details are in the catalog for the vendor. And let's say you go, you know what? I need this side finished. Well, I've got to call that out and specify, you know what? Finish that ends of the filler. Otherwise, it's going to come unfinished. So finishing the side is an upgrade. Okay. So this is how a filler from a less expensive company is going to come. It's got basic filler for the base and the wall. They're going to use the same thing. It's just a 3/4 material, and it's finished on the face frame only, meaning it doesn't have finished top or finished bottom. These edges are not finished. They're meant to be cut. Okay. If you want to have it as a base and you put this in between two base cabinets, the toe kick is going to have a space unless you say put a flush toe kick. Okay, so the filler with an end panel is going to have a toe kick notch on the base cabinet. Okay, so again, you've got to read the specs or know what the specs are. You can get these made cheaper at no charge, but then if you want to go deeper than 24 and 7/8, it's an upcharge. Then here's your base angled fillers for our funky little base angled with end panels finished. You know, when you're going to recess that cabinet, all of these things are really great information, and it's in the catalog book. One thing I want to make you guys aware of when you're talking about this cabinet in the corner, if my cabinet is 24 inches, that means I've got a 24-inch cabinet here, okay? My wall space required to recess this wall cabinet is 42.5 inches. So for this little 24-inch cabinet, I need 42 inches on this side and 42 inches on that side just to put the 24-inch cabinet. And you can see as I go bigger with my cabinet, I'm going to end up with a lot more wasted space of the corner. So I'm not a big fan of corner cabinets. It's a great idea, but for 24 inches, I'm losing 42. So I'm losing over uh 22 inches. When you have those accents, the fillers, they go flush with the cabinet box, okay? They go flush with the box. In order to get them to be flush with the door, you have to put on your accent strip. And this goes on top of the filler. And these accent strips come in either just plain finished edges on 3 sides or 4 sides. They'll come, depending on the manufacturer, they'll come fluted. Could come fluted with routes. This is much older style. Not everybody is using these fluted overlays, but they're called an overlay, an onlay, an accent strip. But these go on top of the filler piece to bring the filler piece flush with the cabinet door. Now here I want you to see, this is looking under, okay? So this is an example of this cabinet. This is this is underneath a wall cabinet. Okay, so we're looking under the wall cabinet. Again, I didn't install this. This is customers' pictures. This is a blind corner cabinet here because I can look up in there and I know that's the blind corner. Oops, there's a hole. Okay, there's a hole up in here if you can see the shadow. This is the other side of the cabinet with the finished bottom. These have finished bottoms. Here's my light rail. This is the light rail added to the cabinet. This is my filler piece. Okay, I have a filler right in here because I'm in a corner, right? Here's my cabinet, and this is my filler before I return to my adjacent cabinet. So I have a filler here with an overlay. See how that comes flush with the door now? These are overlay. but they did not have the return. This company from this brand, or however these fillers are ordered, do not have the return. Do you see this? So underneath all of her corner blind wall cabinets, I have 3 wall blind cabinets. Each and every one of them, you can see up into the corner when you look from underneath. And you can see that this size is a little bit bigger than this size filler. So these, and I have no idea why this is unfinished right here. I don't know what that is because it doesn't look right to me, but whatever, I digress. This is now the other side by the window, and I've got unfinished edge here for whatever piece this is. This might be a wall filler with a return panel. That could be what this is. See a return. That would be unfinished. So it looks to me like they flipped it. It should have been finished on this side. If you're going to have that end panel, I would have put it over here to hide that space. But really, it just should have been one of those fillers, the L filler with a return. So now, see it? Here's my filler. Here's an overlay filler. If you look really close, you could see that overlay filler. And here there is no overlay filler. You could see here's the door, and then it goes back to the filler piece here. And there's a space under there. So my client sees a space under there because this filler wasn't upgraded for a return panel and nobody put in a return. What I wanted to show in this picture was the tile she used. See the grout? See how dark the grout went in? Okay, this is the grout. This is the light rail. Okay, the light rail, he put the edge, the tile ends with the Schluter trim right at the edge of the light rail. The light rail was put in first, and then they tiled the backsplash on top of it, around it. So the tile grout was dark, but the finish, look at how it dried. Okay, people, so realize when you're picking your grout, it doesn't go on wet the same way. It's going to look dark, and the client might say, oh my God, my grout is so dark. But you got to let it dry. You got to let it cure. Look at how much lighter it got. And you can see it's not really truly the same color as the sample. So grout can be very tricky. But what I wanted to talk about in that was the stop screen sharing, was how that filler with the return and the wall cabinet. So all of those open spaces are because the filler was not ordered with a return. How do you solve that problem? You can have them try and make a filler with a return on site, but you're going to have, it's very difficult to get your screws in there and to adhere it. Now they have to go back in there and try and fix these spaces in the customer's cabinetry. Let's just share that again. I want to see something. Let's go back because there's no way to really, I can't put a 1/4 inch skin across the whole bottom because I'm going to have finished edges. And you see this little piece right here? I don't know if you could see that. That's the lighting wire. So again, I can't just put a skim. I've got to now try and figure out. I don't have to do it. The contractor has to do it. But you see this finished edge that gets put on with the factory with glue and heat. You see, how am I going to finish this edge over here with edge banding that's going to have to be shipped loose? I'm going to have to try and cut it up there, glue it up there, and it's never going to be the same as the one next to it. It's going to look like hodgepodge lodge underneath here with this return. These little tiny details. And the customer is upset with this, and I don't blame her because you can look up in there and she wasn't expecting this. Another thing I want to talk about in this picture is everybody, do you see this damage on this wall cabinet? The bottom of the wall cabinet? This cabinet came like this from the factory. Okay, so there are small damages all over this kitchen. And these are good quality cabinets from Omega. Omega is the brand. So I'm not sure if they have an how they manufacture. I don't have the spec sheet on them. But again, it's because the filler was not ordered like this. Wall cabinet fillers should be ordered with a return. Make sure you get that upgrade, add it to all your wall fillers. You specify your height, you specify the depth, but have it filled with the return. Otherwise, you're going to get this piece, which does nothing but go in the space, and you're going to have a void rather. And if it is a corner, you're going to have a big 12-inch by 12-inch corner of empty space underneath there. So you must order them with the returns so you don't end up with that on the job site. So, stop screen sharing. That is an issue after the install. So now going back in there, trying to cut and fit a 3/4 inch piece of material in there, they're going to have to glue it maybe and hope it holds. So, and I've got to get that up behind the light rail and in there. And, maybe I've got to come from the blind corner. It creates a large problem now instead of just ordering the wall cabinet filler with the return. So that is a little filler exercise for today, realizing when you're designing for wall cabinets. And the reason it makes a big issue on one, let me just get back to that again. Let me get back to the beginning of this, is because why it is an issue over here is this side of the wall cabinets are all up higher. So on this side of the kitchen, they're 21-inch counter backsplash. On this part of the kitchen, it's 18 inches backsplash. Now, granted, not all your customers are going to go underneath there and look in there and go, wait a minute, I have a space. But you're going to get about 80% of them that are going to do that, 80 or 90 or maybe even 100%. You don't know, but this creates a problem later on. And if that filler space is over here and I'm sitting here for 21 inches, everybody could clearly see underneath this wall cabinet here. So you really need to consider the height of the cabinets and how you're going to finish them. One thing that I always specify, and I made sure that they did it, but I didn't know, again, the fillers from this company. So the underneath the refrigerator, I always finish this wall cabinet under the refrigerator cabinet, because once you slide in the refrigerator, if it's not built in, because this cabinet is around 6 feet off the floor, you can see underneath that side of the cabinet. So thinking about where you're looking under the cabinets, okay? And also, the other thing in this could, think about when you're looking. The other thing that happened in this kitchen was that they're using man-made material. They're using, that's a quartz stone. And the bottom of the quartz stones, underneath the quartz stones, are not finished, okay? They come from a factory. They don't polish and finish the underside of that stone. So what's on the underside of the stone is all the labeling, the letter. It could be writing, it could be anything. But from this manufacturer, it's a stamped, computerized, generated, probably a lot number underneath all of the slabs. So on their countertop that's 36 inches above the floor, that has an overhang, she looked underneath it, and number one, the countertop is not finished under the overhang. And number two, she can see the writing. So all these little tiny details are what you need to take into consideration, because now the contractor has to go back to do that. The contractor went to go put in the sink faucet, the new faucet. Somebody didn't tell the guy there's a separate drain, and he has to come back and now put in a separate drain. So you want to avoid coming back. You want to avoid the service calls. So this particular kitchen, now, this has been going on for months. There's a lot of small little errors. A lot of it has to do with who ordered the cabinetry. It has to do with who acknowledged the cabinetry. All of those things, all of those nomenclatures, all that paperwork, all those little tiny numbers, they make huge, expensive mistakes. One thing I got to tell you is if you don't have your profit margins up high enough, you're going to have to pay, and you'll lose all your profit margins having to send the plumber back, having to send the contractor back, having to order more material. You can't expect the customer to pay for somebody to come back in and fix those areas, because they need to be addressed, because it wasn't addressed during the order processing, the design processing, the order processing. Had I had their spec book, I wonder if I can share what a spec book looks like. A window. Here it is. This is a spec book. You see all of the pages that go with the book? How many pages are in this book? There are 922 pages. They talk about the stain. They talk about the paint. They talk about construction methods, shelves, joinery, screws, ceiling clearance guidelines, blah, blah, blah. This is what a spec book consists of. All of this information. And when you're ordering, let's just go to a wall cabinet. Uh, wall cabinet. When you see these are the numbers that you're looking at on an order. When you're checking off orders, you're looking at W2412S, W2712. So you have to know what these numbers are, and that's what you're checking off on in your order. All of these numbers, you're not checking off little pictures. Your order processing consists of a whole bunch of numbers, and they've got all the different decorative items. This is all of their moldings that are available. Here, come on, those are decorative. Let's see, molding. Look at all the different moldings that they have. So you go, well, what crown molding do you want? Here's the profile projection. Here's the height. So all of this information, technical information, is in your spec book. Okay, so that is what you need to look at when you're designing the spec book. Okay, so fillers, little filler 101, a little PK on a filler. Make sure you got those return fillers. Thinking about the underside finished of the cabinet. Another thing you guys want to know, that underside of the cabinet does not always come finished by the manufacturer. If she didn't order finished, they would be white on the bottom because she has white interior cabinets. So the finished underneath the cabinets, again, you need to know from the manufacturer, are those wall cabinets finished the same as the kitchen doors, or are they the same as the raw box? Okay, because under that wall cabinet, if you don't specify that to the customer, listen, just so you know, look under this wall cabinet. You see that wall cabinet is not finished in cherry wood like your kitchen. It's finished in the wood vinyl interior from the interior color. The box is one color and then the doors go on. But if you want it finished on the bottom, it either comes standard from a higher end company or it is an upgrade. Okay, so those wall cabinets, your customer is going to walk around and go, why aren't all my wall cabinets finished underneath? Or why is one finished and one isn't? That underside of the cabinets, that whole design under there is paramount in equal to your doors opening, your drawers opening, and everything else. So keep in mind your fillers, your overlay fillers, your returns, your toe kick spaces, and corner fillers and things like that, and your angles and finished sides. Okay, good little lesson for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please, if you want to look for more educational things, I talk nothing but technical stuff in the kitchen and bath design intensive that's coming up. It's all technical stuff. It's for beginners to intermediate. It's not for homeowners. You know, this is all about professionals. You do not need to know exactly what I'm talking about with a kitchen. This is for you to learn how to talk kitchens, how to design kitchens, how to understand kitchens, how the process of bathrooms, understanding bathroom design, understanding bathroom fixtures. It's the foundation that you need to build on to get better and better and better. So this is a foundational course, the design intensive, where there's just so much to talk about in kitchen and bath design, and there's not too many places to learn it. And that's what Allison is. I am the kitchen and bathroom design guru, teacher, mentor. So that's my language. That's my spiel. You want to learn, you got to talk to me. You got to take the intensive. If you're on the edge, it's an excellent program. I really highly recommend it for you. If you know interior design and you've done drafting and you know anything about interior design, you can do kitchen and bath design like I did. I learned it. Oh, I can learn that. You know what? You can learn it too. Where? Here. I'm going to teach you. Okay, listen, have a great day, everybody, and I will talk to you soon. Keep an eye out for more educational videos and check out my stuff on the YouTube channel and more. Thanks a lot, guys. Peace out. Ciao for now.